I'll share with you some of my highlights and fun activities in Seoul, South Korea.
미국 뉴욕에 사는 미국인 헤더는 여행 코치라는 독특한 직업을 갖고 있습니다. 수년간 전 세계를 여행하며 얻은 노하우를 바탕으로 사람들에게 여행에 관련된 조언을 해주고 계획을 세워주는 건데요. 그런 그녀가 팬데믹 후 다시 여행을 떠났습니다. 지금까지 미처 가보지 못한 곳을 경험하기 위해서였죠. 그렇다면 헤더가 서울에서 한 경험 중 가장 만족스러웠던 건 무엇이었을까요? 영상을 통해 느긋한 서울 여행을 함께 해보시죠.
There are a lot of steps here, so if you have any walking problems, you might want to do the cable car, but plan on a wait, of course. And I think it's about 14,000 won for a return trip. This is not an easy walk up. I've already shed 2 layers, even though it's kind of been cold here in Seoul, but today of course it's a bit warmer, and coming from Malaysia and the heat into the cold, I just completely misjudged the weather. The view does get nicer and nicer as you keep going up. It's pretty amazing. The cherry blossoms mostly blew away in a storm before I arrived in Seoul, but I saw a few. Looks like the end is in sight. Made it to the top. When a cable car gets off in front of you, there's quite a traffic jam. It is Sunday, and it's beautiful. So there's a lot of people out. Just so you get an idea of a typical, well, I don't know if it's typical, but a busy, beautiful Sunday spring afternoon in Seoul. Everyone is out here. My take is that to get here, if you come with a subway, you have about a 20-minute walk to get to the base of the park, where you start the further 20 or 25-minute walk up here. I think there is a bus that might bring you closer, and there's also the cable car, which will of course save you the walking, but you may lose out on the time by waiting for the cable car because it seems quite popular, especially for people with kids. It is beautiful up here, and you'll probably want to spend some time just sitting and enjoying, especially if the weather is beautiful like this. Saying that correctly, probably not. And one of the things that's starting to grow on me here is these beautiful side streets that I wouldn't expect. I'm just walking along, and I'll show you this. So it just seems like a quaint. I noticed a bunch of coffee shops on the way over here, so I'm gonna try one after I go to the village. I'm really enjoying these these unexpected little alleys. This is a restaurant. All these people renting the traditional dresses here are giving me envy. I may have to do that one of my days here. Really beautiful streets. Understand correctly, this area is about 600 years old. It used to be where the Joseon government officials used to live. So beautiful, long history and beautiful village. There's a blend of souvenir shops and beautiful artwork as you go through, and some more high-end souvenirs if that's your thing. What I especially like about this area is so much of Seoul seems like a large city. Coming from New York, I'm always intrigued to see other things, so I feel much more like I'm in a village. And okay, right where I'm standing. So I've been watching this, like, I guess K-drama. I don't know if it's K-drama, it's like Korean drama to me, but it's like a sort of romantic comedy drama kind of TV show. And I think I'm standing at the location of one of the scenes that I saw in like episode 3 of this thing. I think it's called like Love to Hate You or something like that. So I'm kind of chuckling. Wow, this is gorgeous. Noisy, but what a beautiful street. So far, this is my favorite activity that I've done in Seoul. This is absolutely beautiful. And you can have your tea here. So there's also a tea house and museum. It was 6,000 won to get in, which is roughly $4 or $5. If you come here, bear in mind that I think people actually live in these buildings presently, so it must be a bit irritating for them to have lots of loud noise and tourists. There were some ladies in yellow jackets telling us to be mindful of noise. And I did see someone come out of her home and throw away some garbage. So I'm going to enjoy my tea outside in this gorgeous weather with this great view. I finished my tea and now I am enjoying a walk in the garden, which is absolutely lovely. I thought there would be some fish in here. Guess not. For the price of a cup of tea or coffee, you get said cup of tea or coffee and a lovely walk around the garden. So definitely think this is a worthwhile activity to do if you make it over to the village here. I'll be honest, I thought this was going to be a very quick visit, maybe 20-30 minutes walk around. I think I've been here an hour. It's just so peaceful and wonderful. Could easily spend a morning or an afternoon here. I'd say the first week here in Seoul has been, well, quite difficult. I think there's always I call it the first week is like my adaptation week wherever I go, especially if it's another country. I got to get used to new currency, new rates of the currency. So it's how it looks and feels, but also how much it is, how much things cost, language. And here in Seoul, also coming from Malaysia, it was really hot and then it was raining and quite cold here. Relax and accept my surroundings. I found this beautiful place. I actually went and found
Influencer Ouyang Yingying fixed her ears in 2021, and she didn't stop there.
몇 년 전만 해도 성형수술이 필수라는 말이 나올 정도로 한국의 젊은이들은 성형에 몰두했습니다. 그러나 그 트렌드는 요즘 많이 바뀌었는데요. 자연스러운 아름다움, 각자의 개성을 강조하는 새로운 트렌드 덕분이었죠. 그러나 중국은 다릅니다. 세계 최대 규모의 성형수술 시장을 보유한 나라답게 기괴하게까지 느껴지는 수술이 유행이거든요. 일명 엘프귀 수술, 두상수술 같은 것들 말이죠. 코나 눈도 아닌 귀 모양을 바꾼다니 의아하게 느껴지지 않으세요? 귀 위쪽 끝을 뾰족하게 하는 엘프귀 수술을 얼굴을 갸름해 보이게 하기 위한 것입니다. 특히 2000년대 이후에 태어난 MZ세대들이 많이 한다고 하는데요. 중국 소셜미디어에는 귀 수술 결과를 자랑하는 포스트가 지속적으로 올라오고 있는 상황이며 나도 하고 싶다, 돈 들일만 하다, 못 믿을 정도다 등의 댓글이 줄줄 달리고 있다고 하죠. 황당하게까지 느껴지는 이 현상에 외국 방송까지 출동해 취재를 했다고 합니다. 영상으로 함께 보시죠.
Just 20 years ago, China's plastic surgery industry barely existed. Today, it's a booming $50 billion monster.
不管你求职了、婚姻了、交朋友了，美可以改变人生。
容貌还是非常重要的，尤其是在当今这个社会，大家都是喜欢美的，那人和人之间相处也是一样。
What's driving China's fixation with the plastic fantastic? And what damage is it doing to the millions caught up in this frenzy? In China, face is everything. Changing your appearance is the hot new trend. And China's youth are using beauty apps to transform their looks. This is one of the most popular apps, So Young. It's amassed over 10 million average monthly users. At the center of this app is a feature called the Magic Mirror. It assesses your face, gives you a score, and then tells you what surgeries are needed to improve that score.
他说我法令纹偏重，下巴比较圆润，眼睛偏短。
他说我脸型偏方，对我脸型很方，下巴偏窄，有眼袋，我还有黑眼圈比较重，法令纹深，对，我熬夜。
要求改善鼻长，鼻长5.1厘米，高于90%的人群，然后中庭会比较偏大，然后会修饰鼻翼的话会更加可爱一点。
我们其实有很多的一些黄金比例的人脸的概念，他们基本上是会用到一个叫马垮特面具的这样的一个概念。这马垮特面具呢，它是一个美国的一个医生叫马垮特，然后他根据那个黄金的人脸比例来定了一个规则，把他眼睛的大小啊、比例啊、分布啊，形成了这样的一个黄金的人脸比例。所有的美图软件或者美颜软件都是根据这个黄金比例，把它识别出来不完美的那个人脸关键点。
But it also draws up plans for surgeries and connects you with endorsed clinics.
黄金比例它相对来说是一个很好的概念，但是现实生活中是无法达到的。那所以说不可能每个人都会达到一个黄金的比例。所以更多的话，其实如果说过度的强调黄金比例的话，它其实是一种容貌的焦虑的营销。
You can even watch explanatory videos and live stream content from doctors.
你这种是最常见的。
比较厚的皮肤呢，一般的来讲，这个弹性倒稍微差一点点。
如果说综合的方案，我建议是这样的啊，全脸的这个改善。
So Young accounts for 1/3 of China's online booking of cosmetic treatments, with annual transactions worth $189 million. 21-year-old Li Yao is one of the millions influenced by So Young to go under the knife.
我觉得变好看是我的人生理想之一，对我真的觉得它对我很重要。虽然说可能有一点容貌焦虑的成分在里面，因为我真的经常会觉得自己不好看，还会睡不着。
一年一年来，5年、4年、04啊。
这都什么时候的照片
？0几年、
05年。05年1月1号。
这是04年的，这是05年。明星能开点明星。
想起来小时候，老大说我招风耳，我还不高兴呢。
看真的看到耳朵不成比例，但你小时候来玩的时候，那几张人家耳朵看了。
人长变的话，这个耳朵夹角就会越来越小，它会压进去。
As Li Yao's flaring ears became less obvious as he grew up, they suddenly became a much-desired facial feature.
我说你如果
我的耳朵是真的小，你想这个耳朵大一点，其实他就会觉得你的脸小一点。
Li Yao's desire for change was brought on by China's latest plastic surgery craze, elf ears. On Chinese microblogging site Weibo, the elf ears hashtag has garnered over 700 million views.
就是通过玻尿酸注射的方式，让你的耳朵看起来更加的肥大一些。
做完这个精灵耳，最直观的一种感觉就是脸变小了。
然后他扎了个精灵耳，我觉得特别好看。然后我昨天也冲了，我太喜欢这个耳朵了。
把耳朵这样立起来，这样呢，因为有了对比，所以就会显得脸会比较小。
现在人家多了一个学名啊，人家现在开始叫精灵耳。
Encouraged by an army of influencers raving about their new elf ears, Li Yao decided to undergo the procedure too, to make his ears more visible from the front.
注射时候的疼痛我是能忍受的，因为我是一个比较耐疼的人。然后注射的时长大概有将近1个小时，其实要不停调整，而且竞争点很多，就是整个耳朵上面全是针眼，可能。 这个精灵耳这个术式还是很有必要的，因为耳朵是一个很重要的美学单位。我做了很多项目，我觉得这个是我的即刻效果最满意的一次。
Dr. Jia De Yuan has been a plastic surgeon for over 30 years.
有很多打这个注射那个生长因子啊，注射下巴，打进去的话，有时候啊不可能受到你医生跟那个求美者自己的控制，它有时候疯狂的长啊，长得成畸形了。断骨增高这些也是非常危险的，万一你把骨头断了过，它长不好怎么办呢？这种落下残疾的比比皆是，比较多的。
Influencer Ouyang Yingying fixed her ears in 2021, and she didn't stop there. But is she pushing the boundaries for beauty into dangerous territory?
영상에서 보셨다시피 이 수술은 생각보다 위험하다고 합니다. 엘프기 수술 방법은 크게 두 가지인데 하나는 몸의 다른 부분에서 연고를 떼는 이식하는 것이고 다른 하나는 히알루론산을 주입하는 것이라고 하죠. 연고를 떼지 않는 히알루론산 주입식 수술 비용은 약 3,400만 원이라고 하는데요. 귀 모양의 원상복구가 불가능하다는 점과 부작용이 많다는 점에서 다른 나라의 성형외과 의사들은 고개를 절레절레 흔들지만 중국에서는 여전히 성행 중이라고 합니다. 오늘 영상 어떠셨나요? 재밌게 보셨다면 구독과 좋아요 부탁드립니다. 감사합니다.
Even the takeaway chicken.
한국을 두고 기술 강국이라고 하지만 실제로 한국에서만 살아가는 우리는 잘 느끼지 못할 때가 있습니다. 일상이 돼버렸기 때문이죠. 그런데 미국에서 기자로 일하고 있는 한국계 미국인이 싱가포르 공영방송의 요청을 받아 얼마 전 한국을 방문했습니다. 그녀는 한국 곳곳에 구현된 IT 기술에 깜짝 놀랐다고 하는데요. 어떤 기술이 싱가포르 공영방송의 취재진을 놀라게 했는지 영상으로 확인해 보시죠.
South Korea is one of the most connected places on the planet. Here, nearly every household is online. Nearly every adult owns a smartphone, and nearly everything is inspired by tech, even the takeaway chicken.
Mr. Robert Chicken over here might seem like a gimmick, but I think it's a good example of untapped technology.
A national effort to reshape the Korean economy around a concept called Untact is underway. It's a vision for a future society that requires little or no human contact, one that's run by apps, algorithms, and automation. An ode to this not-too-distant future is encapsulated at the T-Um, a museum designed to envisage our lives in 2051.
특히 예전에는 20세기에는 미래를 생각할 때 우주 기술이라든지 아니면 이동수단 중심으로 생각을 했던 것 같아요. 예를 들면 날아다니는 자동차를 통해서 어떤 미래를 묘사하는 영화 같은 것들이 많이 있었죠. 근데 21세기로 넘어오면서 우리 세계의 미래가 그 방향으로 가지를 않았어요. 정보통신 기술 중심으로 바뀌었죠.
So finally, we're at the medical capsule. Please come this side.
In this contactless future, hospitals will be equipped with hyper-developed artificial intelligence to prioritize remote care.
An AI doctor is diagnosing the patient's condition.
The fracture has been detected on the left knee. Artificial bone created.
Okay, so an artificial bone has been printed by a medical 3D printer, and we will now conduct a replacement surgery. Would you be the volunteer?
Sure.
Okay.
Press the black one too. Now this is a kind of tech that would make most Korean parents proud.
Grabbing it, and woo! Can I tell my mom I've become a doctor? Years of medical school, just like in a few minutes.
Are we ready to enter a brave new world? Or has that dystopian vision already arrived? I'm Joy Lee.
It's so juicy.
I'm a journalist from the US and I'm in South Korea armed with my limited Korean to reconnect with the motherland. In this episode, I explore how the technological revolution is changing Korean society for the good
이걸 하면은 치매도 안 오고 머리가 이제 착 돌아간다 이 말이죠.
and the bad.
카메라를 여기 단계가 보이는 위치에다 놓기 때문에 여기를 기준으로 보일 수 있는 장소를 저희가
How people here are finding new ways to adapt and innovate with the tech.
내가 이제 프랑스에 있든 미국에 있든 리얼 타임으로 이 ICT 기능을 이용을 해서 물을 줄 수도 있고.
To truly understand Korea's obsession with technology, you have to look into its history. Established as a republic in 1948, the country was an impoverished and predominantly agricultural state, with most of the industry and electrical power residing in North Korea. A devastating war with its neighbor in the early 50s led to years of slow recovery. It was the government's decision to prioritize electronics and technology in the 1980s that really turned the tide, helping the country overturn its entire economy in just one generation, transforming South Korea into one of the world's top 10 economies in just over 3 decades.
MSX 방식 대우 퍼스컴 IQ 1000.
Since then, this love of technology and electronics has grown on par with the country's economic rise, with people spending an average of nearly 4.5 hours a day on mobile devices, one of the highest in the world. But South Korea's commitment to tech hasn't only been about economic gain.
코로나19 검사 건수가 폭증하고 있습니다.
South Korea is coping with an explosion of coronavirus cases.
The country's battle against the pandemic in 2020 showed the world exactly why Korea is at the forefront of the fourth industrial revolution.
Hyper-connected, technologically advanced, and digitally savvy. All these Korean characteristics kicked into overdrive when the pandemic hit.
In the last century, technology transformed South Korea from a predominantly agricultural nation into a global tech giant. Now, in the 21st century, that same technology is helping younger generations reconnect with their agrarian roots. Professionals are giving up high-powered jobs to pursue farming, well, smart farming, where software and tech are replacing sweat and toil. In 2019, more than 70,000 farmers chose to retire due mainly to old age. To fill the void and with an eye to the future, the government is offering young farmers subsidies to open a smart farming business with an allotment of 30 hectares of land and attractive agricultural loans. I'm meeting one of the many young farming entrepreneurs being championed by the government. An Hae-sung gave up a coveted job with the prestigious Hyundai Group to pursue his dream of starting a strawberry farm. And I'm curious to learn what made him take this leap of faith and just how he makes the tech tick.
When you're working, are you sneaking a lot of strawberries? Because I feel like I would eat this whole place.
먹으면서 많이 하죠.
Oh, so beautiful. It's so red.
제가 농업으로 온 이유는 제가 현대건설의 그 현대자동차그룹의 연구원으로 있으면서 AI랑 빅데이터 관련된 어떤 연구들을 좀 했어요. 그래서 당시 이러한 연구들을 할 때 제가 어떠한 매체를 통해서 이 스마트팜을 접하게 됐는데 당시 내가 하고 있는 이러한 그 지식과 또 지금 이 농업과의 어떤 접목을 통해서 할 수 있는 부분들이 많겠구나라는 생각에 좀 과감히 이제 회사를 퇴사를 하고 이렇게 농업을 선택을 하게 됐죠. 일단 이 기술 자체가 궁극적인 목표는 일단 품질 향상과 이제 수확량 증대에 있어요. 여기에 보면 이거는 이제 드리퍼라고 해서 이 딸기가 먹을 수 있는 정량의 비료를 넣어줄 수 있는 기술이에요. 그래서 만약에 이 딸기가 하루에 8번 20cc의 물을 필요로 한다. 그러면 컴퓨터로 그걸 세팅을 해주면 여기서 정확하게 8번 20cc가 들어가는 거죠.
Right, so you save more
예.
water.
또 위에 있는 LED 같은 경우는 만약에 비가 온다든지 구름이 많아 해가 안 뜬다든지 그랬을 때 얘네들은 광합성을 위한 어떤 일부 스펙트럼만 남겨놓은 그런 특수 이제 식물 생장용 LED라고 해서 이런 태양의 역할을 대신해주는 이 등이라고 볼 수가 있어요. 그래서 이 전체가 전부 자동화 시스템이 되어 있고 휴대폰으로 다 작동을 할 수 있게끔 세팅이 돼 있어. 크로스.
와우.
그뿐만 아니고 내가 이제 프랑스에 있든 미국에 있든 리얼타임으로 이 ICT 기능을 이용을 해서 이제 물을 줄 수도 있고 또 이 스마트팜에 어떤 유동팬을 돌릴 수도 있고 이렇게 해가지고 해서 드셔도 돼요. 이렇게 해서 예 드셔도 돼요.
I've been waiting. It's so juicy. 진짜 달아요. Where do you see the future of smart farm heading?
외부 환경 조건에 상관없이 어느 지역에서도 원하는 작목들을 원하는 식량들을 재배를 할 수 있는 기술이 오겠죠. 그래서 예를 들면 두바이 사막에서도 이러한 딸기를 먹을 수도 있고 또 남극 혹은 북극 같은 데서도 이런 이 스마트팜 가지고 채소도 먹을 수도 있고 과일도 먹을 수도 있고 그래서 이런 스마트팜이 발전하면 전 세계 인구들이 어떤 이 안전한 먹거리를 제공을 받을 수가 있기 때문에 앞으로는 그렇게 가지 않을까 지금 생각을 합니다.